everybody, today's video is going to be a hair color video on pastels and lighter vivid shades. So I wanted to do a tutorial, but then I figured that I would need a few disclaimers for this just because videos like this get a lot of questions, and I did want to bring a few things up before jumping right into the tutorial. Now, number one, I have light to medium blonde hair. It is not near the white phase at all. It's not anywhere near platinum. It is more of like a wheat colored blonde, so it has a little bit of warmth in it. It is definitely not really ashy white blonde hair. So I get a lot of questions about somebody with darker blonde hair or even dark hair asking if they can get pastel hair or use vivids on their hair. So this is sort of going to debunk that, and I'm kind of going to show you the colors I use. I use 6 different colors. I used like 3 blue or green shades and then 3 purple pink shades. So I did want to show you guys that you can still use these types of colors on slightly darker blonde hair, but it still has to be like quite light like mine. Like you can see like through this area here, my blonde is still decently light. It is not dark by any means. So like I said, I don't have white hair, but it is still pretty light. But I used a few pastels and a neon blue and just their vivids pink, which is actually pretty light. And you can see that the blue and the green really showed up, and I don't think it's picking up on camera, but you can slightly see where I had the coral and violet and pink shades, but nowhere near as bright as the green and blue showed up. So you can see that yes, it did work, but it's not going to be a true blue color or true violet or whatever you're using. It's just not going to be that way, because when you think of it like a piece of paper that's pure white and you're coloring on it, that's when you get the purest and truest color. But if say you were to draw on like a tan piece of paper, it just wouldn't look as bright and vivid. Same with your hair. If it's not going to have like a super white slate, it's not going to be its truest color. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop rambling so we can jump into the tutorial. But if you guys have any other questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave those down below, and let's just jump right into it. So like I said, I do have 3 blue greens and then 3 pinky purple colors, and the first thing I did was just took small pieces of paper and wrote out each name of the colors just so I could keep them more organized. And you can see here that in my before, I did have light blonde hair, but it did have some warmth to it and was definitely not white. So what you want to do first is obviously put on gloves and then determine where you want the color to be. I'm just doing it toward the bottom. And then the first color I'm using is 2 Cute Coral, and I'm not using the brush. I'm just going to go right in with my fingers. And you can see here that I'm just taking a small piece and then just going toward the bottom and then feathering that color up just so that it's not a really harsh line. And I do like things to be pretty symmetrical, so I'm going to do this exact same thing on the other side and using that same color and then just sort of tossing it to the back to make sure that it gets out of the way. Then I'm going to be taking Mystical Mint, and this is a pastel shade, and I'm going to be putting that right in front of it on the same amount of hair, making sure to really saturate the ends and then blend at the top so there is no harsh lines. And once again, doing the exact same thing to the other side. Then I'm going in with Luscious Lavender, which is also a pastel, and doing the exact same thing, just taking a small piece of hair, saturating the ends, and then blending upward on both sides. And what I like to do is take a purple or pink shade and then a blue or green shade in between, and then keep alternating just so they don't blend too much together. And then I'm going in with Neon Blue, and this is the shade that shows up the darkest. So I'm just doing the exact same thing as all the other colors, just saturating the ends and blending at the very top on both sides. And then I'm going to be going in with their Vivids Pink, and this is actually a very light color. You can hardly see it when it's done processing on my colored hair. So like before, I'm just doing the exact same thing, saturating the ends and blending upward. Then the last color is Blissful Blue, and this is a pastel shade as well. So once again, on both sides, just saturating the ends and blending upward. And then that is all 6 shades that I will be using. And you don't have to do it the way I'm doing it, but after I was done with all 6 shades, I just repeated in the exact same order that I did before.
The technique I did was obviously pretty simple and I don't really need to explain it any further. I did want to make a point again that the blues showed up the best. The neon blue did show up the darkest, so if you're wanting a color to really show in your non-white hair, I would maybe choose a darker blue. It's not going to be super pastel, but on darker blonde hair, it's not going to be super dark either. So I would definitely recommend that. The lavender that I used basically just toned my blonde hair, and like I said, you could kind of see the coral but just barely. And then the mint and the blissful blue did a slight color, but the neon blue was definitely the color that showed up the best in my hair. And then once all the color was on my hair, I let that process for between 20 and 25 minutes and then just shampooed and rinsed out with lukewarm water. And I did forget to mention, definitely have a towel on your lap to wipe your gloves in between each color. So you can see here that the colors are not blending together. And then here is a close-up after I was done washing and drying my hair. You can see that that blue color definitely showed up the best on my hair. And that is all for this experimental hair color video. I hope it was helpful and you guys learned something. And like I said, it will show up, but if your hair is non-white, then colors are not going to be as vibrant as seen here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye everybody.